Hello everyone and welcome to my TJ Silver channel. Today I would like to show you what I use embossing folders for on polymer clay, or how I use them I should say. Now I have quite a few of this particular range, which is the Stamping Up range. They make all sorts of stuff for card making. I have these because my daughter's a demonstrator and it's quite easy for me to get them, but you can get embossing folders all sorts of places, and they're all sorts of makes, but there's so many different designs that you can get. This one here makes a very pretty design, but there's lots and lots of them around. The reason I wanted to show you this one in particular today is because it really does have a really lovely texture, and this one is called the Baroque. So I will start by showing you, obviously it opens up and you have one side which is what I call a raised area, and then you have an indented area, indented side I should say. So I will start with a piece of white clay that I have here, which I rolled out on number 2 on my Makings pasta machine. But again, don't worry if you haven't got a pasta machine, you can still roll your clay out very evenly, and Valerie Mellows of The Unruly Housewife does a video showing you just how to do that. Okay, so what I then next do is I would actually spritz this with a bit of water, only a very slight spritz, literally just to give it it's a bit of a release agent. It just stops that clay from sticking into the indentations, because that's the last thing you need. Just lay your piece in there, fold it over, and then I would use my acrylic roller here, but anything that's you can sort of hold and got a bit of pressure to, and just start one side, working your way across. And you don't have to push this too hard, but just enough that you can actually feel that the clay is working its way in to the embossing folder, and you will see that as you go across. You will actually see the clay going into the pattern. And I just come back the other way again, trying to apply sort of an even pressure all the way across if you can. That way it will get you an even texture, and that's really as simple as that is. And then you just open up, and because you've put the water on, it does open up very easily, and you can quite easily take your clay off, remove your folder, and at this point I would actually get some tissue and just give it a dab, just to get rid of any excess water on there. Pick it up if you can, like so, wipe your tile down and just apply a little bit on the back. And don't worry too much, you're not going to flatten this pattern too easily. It really does make a very large indentation, so it would take quite a bit. You'd really probably have to put it back through your pasta machine or roll it out for it to actually disappear. So there you can see you've got some really lovely patterns in there. So I'm just going to use a cutter here. I've got a little round, this one's part of the Sculpey set, and it doesn't matter, you don't have to have an even pattern in there if you don't want to, but this does lend itself rather nicely to making a sort of a pendant type shape. So I just literally lay my cutter on the top, and I sometimes use like just a piece of plastic, acrylic I suppose they call it, and just lay this on the top. That way I can get a pretty even pressure when I'm putting my cutter in. Remove the excess, and there you can see, I get my knife so as I can actually scrape this up. This is a crafter's blade, and that way you can see you've got a nice pattern that side, but you've also got the same pattern the other side, but one's raised and one's indented. Now at this point it's entirely up to you what you want to do. You could apply pastels, you could apply mica powders or Pearlex, or if you have pan pastels you could use those, or if you wanted to you could bake it and then maybe apply some acrylic paint afterwards. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to today, just really so as you can see what you can do with these. I've got some chalks here, just a very basic set, but there's some beautiful colours, and I'm going to start with using a blue just on the, and this one is actually on the what I call the indented side, but it does have obviously the raised edges, and I'm just going to very lightly put some of my finger there, just take off the excess, and just start by working my way over that pattern, and you can see it immediately brings it to life. And I do think the blue and the white does lend itself really quite well together, and you can just apply it as much as you want. You don't have to go right over it. You could maybe blend another colour in if you wanted to, I'm just going to do this really just to show you what you can achieve. And what I like to try and do is just get a little bit more on the edges. It just gives it a bit more definition. And once you've done that, take the excess off your finger, and if you want to, scoop it up, and as you will see, that's made that really quite pop now, as they call it. But what you can do, just give your area a little wipe, is turn it over, gently lay it down again, and this time I'm going to use a purple, and just do exactly the same as I did with the blue. Take some excess off and just work my way around the pattern. Again, if you wanted to use another colour as well, just to give it a bit more definition, you can. It's really sort of endless what you can do, and just keep, like I say, define those edges if you can. While you're doing that, you are sort of tidying up the edges a bit as well, so, and just apply it over that clay just to give it some definition, like so. Now, the reason I've done it both sides is purely that, is so if you wanted to, you could turn this into a pendant and you could actually have it both ways. So one day you could wear it the purple side and the next day you could wear it the blue side. It's entirely up to you. Also for earrings it's great, because I do think the back of things need to look as good as the front really, or at least very neat if you can. But that's just me. Now this is endless what you do with these. There's all sorts of things you can apply, like I said, paints. Now you can also do, and I did this on a small piece here, where this is actually like a sort of ceramic look, and I actually used some liquid clay and with some chalks scraped into it. Now Valerie Mellors again does a very good video on this, and it's faux ceramic, so do have a look at that. And then I've just got the pastel on that side, and I've actually glazed this piece, and I tend to use a Duraclear. Now they do the matte, they do the gloss, and they do a satin, but it's entirely up to you what you want to use. Baking wise, if I'm going to do a procedure like I did with this, with the ceramic look, then that's going to be baked at least twice. So the first time I would bake it with one side having the pastels on, and I would bake that probably around about 20 to 25 minutes. Check what your packaging says. I'm pretty sure Primo is around about the 275 or 130 here in the UK, but do check your packaging, because every clay I think is a bit different. And then when you're going to bake it again, obviously once that side is done, you can obviously turn it over and do this with the the faux ceramic if you want to, or apply something totally different. It's entirely up to you. But that just really shows you how versatile quite a simple embossing folder can be, and just how effective it can be on a piece of clay to make a very simple pendant if you wanted to. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I would like to take the opportunity to thank everyone so far that has subscribed to my channel. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if there's any more of you out there that want to subscribe, please do so. I would like to think that there's possibility another video before Christmas, but I'm not too sure yet. It really depends on time. But if not, I would just like to say Happy Christmas to everyone and have a great new year, and I will see you all again soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.